Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. So, today I thought I would talk about what you need to do to find a good immigration attorney because we're talking about your life realistically here. However you want to determine it, if you happen to be here illegally and are, fighting to stay in, or if you happen to be outside and you want to come in. Either way, it will significantly direct, your abilities in the future on what it is you're going to do. So first, let me just tell you a little bit about myself because I know a little something about immigration attorneys. So I went to law school a long time ago. I graduated in 1991 and then became licensed in 1992. And for the first few years, I actually did not work in immigration. I worked in civil litigation, and I hated it. And then it turns out a job opened up that had half, believe it or not, half civil litigation and half immigration, and I really liked the immigration. So after that job, I went into just immigration. And then years later, around the year 2000, I, incorporated, became a professional corporation, started my own business. But I was doing immigration since about 1996. And I'm from California, so I took the certification exam for specialists for the first time right around 2000, became a certified specialist in immigration and nationality law. That certification only lasts 5 years, so you have to renew it every 5 years. They want to make sure that you don't just sit back, go to the beach, and, you know, are a certified specialist forever. So I have renewed my certification, I think, so 4 or 5 times now. And so I've been practicing immigration law for nearly 30 years. And since 2000, I've been a certified specialist. So I know a thing or two about how to find a good immigration attorney. So, I'm talking about all over the US, and I'm also talking about internationally. Okay. I have found over the years a lot of times people will, for example, let's just talk about the UK. They will hire a UK immigration attorney to help them with a US immigration problem. And that, first and foremost, is a mistake. I would never take a case of immigrating to the UK because I am neither an expert nor knowledgeable about UK immigration law. So, first things first, you must find a US immigration attorney. And secondly, it doesn't matter where they are. Okay, US immigration's federal law. So we can practice anywhere, and it's way better to have someone who knows what they're doing rather than happens to be local. I mean, what does it matter if you walk in there, you can physically walk in their office and they can physically talk to you, but they don't really know what they're doing or they're not real experienced. With the advent of multiple kinds of consultations online, it's as good as being there. And you get the benefit of an expert attorney. Okay, so it's important that you do choose an attorney that you feel comfortable with, but most importantly, that they know what they're doing. So there's all kinds of parts of immigration law. Okay, there's parts that deal just with deportation, removal, inadmissibility, stuff that deals with waivers, stuff that deals with going to immigration court, things like that, stuff that deals with detention, stuff that deals with removability issues and appealing all those, decisions by immigration judges or USCIS regarding removability. And then there's, of course, the part where people are inside the United States but apply for legal immigration, whether it's family-based immigration or employment-based immigration, um, whether it's the diversity lottery visa, the investor's visa, whether it's a non-immigrant visa, and there's all kinds of non-immigrant visas. And then, of course, there's the people who are outside the US who want to come in, and they, again, may qualify for all kinds of different stuff, non-immigrant visas. They may ultimately qualify for immigrant visas, whether it's business or students or education or training, and so forth, or, come for pleasure, whatever. And so you first have to define what area of immigration law you're interested in pursuing. Okay, now a lot of times you don't know. I mean, that's the reality. Then, of course, you still have to find someone who knows what they're doing in that case, too. But for example, if you're going to be doing a perm, okay, it's not going to do you a lot of good to go to an expert immigration attorney who only does deportation. Okay. And by the same token, if you just got a notice to appear in immigration court, it doesn't do you a lot of good to go to an immigration attorney who all they do is employment based visas. Okay. So there are people, I mean, myself included, who are certified specialists. So we do everything, okay? In the morning, I could be doing an I-9 compliance review. And in the afternoon, I could be reviewing a removal order in order to do a motion to reopen. And the next day, I might get, somebody who wants to invest and do an E2 visa. So, it's all over the board. But make sure that the person, the attorney you're looking to hire, doesn't just have the words immigration attorney, okay? That they deal with what your situation is. And you can ask them, go, hello, do you do non immigrant visas? Have you done investor visas? Or do you represent people in immigration court? You can say, when was the last time you were in immigration court? Okay. That will give you a much better feel for the type of immigration attorney you need, because everything is, very specialized. Okay. Even if you're going to do appeals, for example, to the BIA or to the Circuit Court of Appeals, those require years of experience to properly do. Okay. Which, on a side token, I don't understand sometimes why people appeal things themselves and then they wonder why it got denied. So find an attorney, if you're going to appeal, that knows what they're doing. And then to narrow it, there's all kinds of appeals. There's appeal of an immigration decision. You might have had a labor certification that was denied. That goes to BALCA. Okay. So there's all different avenues of appealing. So first find out if you're appealing a deportation related order, you're appealing a denial of a visa, you're appealing a denial of a perm, whatever it is. Okay. So that would help in that respect. Now, you want to research online first, because let's face it, everything's online. Okay. You should be able to find out a great deal about your attorney or one that you're interested in to determine their qualifications. So, for example, in California, we have the California State Bar. In Texas, you have the Texas State Bar. Okay. And every state bar has a dedicated website where you can look at the attorney. You can research the attorney by the name, by the bar number, whatever it is, and you'll find that attorney. Now, when you find it, the state bar website is independent and it has nothing to do with good or bad reviews. Obviously, if you go on the attorney's website, it's going to say how good they are, which is fine. You can review the website, their own personal, law firm website. But if you want a real independent review to determine if you should hire that attorney or not, go to the state bar. That's who licenses them. Okay. So, for example, if you go to the state bar and the attorney's a certified specialist, find out that they're a certified specialist. Find out that they actually are, not that they just say they are, but that they are. It will be on the bar website. And not every state offers certification as a specialist. So some sites, some states may not. I suspect, like, for example, Idaho or Missouri, they don't have a ton of immigration attorneys, so they're not going to, the state's not going to um, put a lot of resources into making someone a certified specialist. And this is not just something you pay $20 for and you get it. I mean, normally you have to have many years of experience. You have to have all kinds of experience in different areas of immigration law. You have to pass a test. You have to get referrals, all kinds of stuff. So find out. And then, even more importantly, make sure they are currently licensed, that they're eligible to practice law. Okay? Obviously, if they're not licensed, they are illegally practicing law, but you can verify it on the bar page, okay? And see how many years experience they have, and then see if there's been any complaints, okay? If there have been, a complaint by itself is nothing necessarily to worry about, because sometimes clients just don't get what they want and they blame the attorney for everything, even though everything was done properly. It just didn't go, unfortunately, the way the client wanted. So find out the results. You don't have to read, hundreds of pages. You can't read hundreds of pages because it's private, but on the state bar website, it'll say, whether or not there was a complaint brought and what the results were. Okay. Now, obviously, if you see something that says disciplinary action against whatever is suspended for, 3 months, that should be a red flag that maybe you need to look elsewhere. Okay. So hopefully when you look on the State Bar website, you will see there are no disciplinary complaints. Okay. So that allows you to evaluate all the credentials and to determine if that person is qualified. And then, of course, you should have, once you determine which attorney or attorneys you want to go with, then you should have a consultation about your problem. You should have an initial consultation. Now, I can tell you from me, my office will offer, an initial free consultation up to 10 minutes. Now, I can tell you in 99% of the cases that want an initial consultation, within 3 minutes, I've determined what needs to be done, what procedures can be done, the costs, and so forth. Or I've determined that that person doesn't have enough information for me to determine what needs to be done, and I need to send up a follow-up email asking various questions. Okay? But if you happen to get on a consultation and the attorney's wavering back and forth about what to do and not real clear, and you don't get the warm fuzzies, then maybe time to search for someone else. And what I'm saying is that the attorney doesn't necessarily need to be real friendly, okay? Because ultimately, what your goal is not to find a friend in an attorney, not to find someone to chummy up to, but to find someone who knows what they're doing and will get it done, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that that attorney will have his or her hands on every single thing that gets done from beginning to end, like myself. I mean, if that were the case, I couldn't help all the people I do. Okay. I have to have people and other attorneys and paralegals and support staff that help put the stuff together. But of course, first, I find out what the problem is. I determine what needs to be done. I send an email with the costs and procedures. And then if we want to go forward, or the client does, we enter into the agreement. And then I delegate the various assignments. I always review, send comments, edit, send comments, and re-edit, and so forth until it's just right to go out the door. Okay? So you can tell as well if you're calling an attorney and they don't really know what they're doing. I mean, if someone called me and started asking me about patent law, I wouldn't have a lot of real good answers. Okay? Hope it helps.